Today I want to continue the topic of automating solution provisioning using SharePoint 2013 app model. We've been on this topic for a while. We've covered how to set your custom branding, the master page for the SharePoint side, both Office 365 and on premises. But in all of those scenarios, we basically kept our resources such as master page and CSS files and images and whatever else on our app side. In this case, SharePoint App 2 or App 1, and then we've been setting the resources, things such as a site master page, using that remotely located master page. But one of the things and one of the drawbacks of this particular approach is when I go to the actual root site settings, and if I wanted to change the master page, I won't see this master page in a list of master pages. The reason why is because the master pages here are pulled up from the list in my master pages and page layouts. Same thing with the page layouts. If I wanted to go to take a look at page layouts and site templates and see what layouts I have, I wouldn't see my custom layout that I keep on the app side because this UI simply just doesn't look there. So I've been playing with that idea for past couple of days, and it's actually possible to provision your resources onto the actual root site using an app model. So in that particular scenario, you would make an app that would has some resources, page layouts, master pages, CSS, whatever, and at the time of the app installation, and when users click on the app, it would actually provision all of those resources or some of those resources. You don't have to provision everything to your root site. So let's take a look at how that's done. This is a publishing site. This is Office 365, and I turned on the publishing features. So this is a publishing site. And in my master pages and page layouts, I have a couple of master pages here. I'm going to sort by page layouts to kind of show you what else I have here. So I have several page layouts here. There's a couple of page layouts, Yaroslav ASPX and Yaroslav's layout ASPX, that I've been playing around. Those are old layouts. Well, what we're going to do now, we're going to actually provision a page layouts, because we've been playing enough with master page. So we're going to provision a page layout onto this gallery, a new one, let's say Yaroslav1.aspx, and we're actually gonna create a page that uses that master page. In the scenario right now, if I go to the pages gallery and I decide to create a new page, I won't see any of my custom master pages. I won't see them. Those are all out of the box ones. So I want to be able to see my custom master page showing up right here. So that's the goal. So I'm going to switch to my Visual Studio solution. The solution is already created, so I'm not going to go through from the beginning on how to type everything, because the more we, over the past couple of screencasts, we've now expanded the solution. The solution is quite big now. It's not too complicated. I'll try to be as clear as possible where things are, but basically this is just out of the box SharePoint Visual Studio 2012 app template, and a couple of things I've added here. Well, you remember I added my images, some CSS. That's all out of the box, but this particular master pages module I've added last time, and that has my custom master page. This time I added the page layouts module, and all that page layouts module does, it provisions the page layouts, which I downloaded from my site, right? So to download the page layouts from your site, you go to site settings, you go to page layouts, master pages and page layouts. You find yourself a master page or the page layout that you like the most. In my case, it's just blank web part page, and I just copied it, downloaded it, put it here. Now you notice that by default, page layouts are called whatever name .aspx. Now what happened, I've noticed, is that if you call your page layout .aspx, at the time of being provisioned to using this module, it's actually, SharePoint is trying to do something smart with it. It's trying to convert it into a page. So you end up with this really badly broken page layout that just doesn't work. So by renaming it to .layout, you actually preserve the page layout however you've defined it here, right? Because SharePoint is like, okay, that's just a file, so I'm not gonna do anything special to it. If you leave it as .aspx, it will actually break it badly. So don't do that. So just copy the page layout, rename it to .layout or whatever else extension you'd like to keep, and that's going to be the layout that's provisioned. So so that's simple. Next thing, obviously, the root or the core of the whole thing is app.js. So app.js, I kind of collapsed a couple of those things. There's a couple of things here. So at the time of calling again, we're going to call just a blank page. That's just going to be an app default page, and that page is going to call this particular function, which in turn calls all the other functions. So no fancy UI to do stuff. So let's see what we need to do in order to make this whole thing happen. First, we need to provision files. So the provision file is kind of an overarching function here. We're just basically getting hold of the master page gallery. So we get a hold of the current web, a bunch of lists, and then find the master page gallery by the title, the list title. This is actually one of the functions that there isn't any specific function to get things by URL, so this is as good as it gets. So then we execute this query, and that calls, when that query is successful, we're calling retrieve files to provision. So retrieve files to provision, or retrieve file to provision, is this. So what this does, we're setting some of the variables here, such as file URL, which is our actual app file, right? The Yaroslav layout, the one that doesn't do anything, that lives on the app web. This is a destination file name. So this is whatever the layout is going to be called. So it's got to be .aspx. This is a title, so it's showing up properly in the UI, right? This is just a list item title. And this is the content type, the page layout. Now, all of those things are used somewhere below here. The reason why I put them up here, and you probably want to create an array or something if you're provisioning more than one file, just so it's easier to modify all of them. So what we're going to do next, we're going to get a hold of this file, this URL, the actual file that lives on the app site, and get the binary out of it. And so once this little function is executed and it's successful, we're going to call this function, copy file to provision. So let's take a look at this guy, copy file to provision. So copy file to provision basically just gets the we already have the content of the file right here in sender, and we're just gonna create a new file. So we're creating a new file in our master page gallery. So we're populating some of the file info, such as the URL, the actual the content. For now it's empty, and also we set the ability to overwrite if the file already exists, and we just change the content to our content, and in here we'll actually go byte by byte and update the content of empty content that we've created here. Once it's all done, we're adding, so we're getting hold of the master page gallery, which we created earlier. We're getting hold of the root folder, and we're adding a new file to here. Once the file is added, obviously we're just calling generic success and generic failure to just update the file or call this or finalize this function. But one last thing that we need to do for the file to actually show up in the proper places, right? Because those lists here, they're driven by the content type, and if you don't have your content type properly set, it doesn't matter if you put the file here, it's not going to show up in the proper UI where it's supposed to be. So we need to update the list item properties. So we're calling get list item for update. So first we need to get a hold of that item. We've just created it, but we need to get a hold of this item. So and that's done basically just by querying. So we're basically passing on the query. This is the file name. We're getting hold of that file name, and just here's basically our list item collection. Obviously, we're expecting for only first file to be updated, but we get a collection, so there's nothing we can do about it. If that's successful, if this whole retrieval is successful, we actually call update item properties. So update item properties just does a simple update. we get a hold of the the first item that's there, and we update the content type to whatever we specified earlier and the title to whatever we specified earlier. And that's it. We're just calling a generic success if things are okay. If things aren't okay, we call it generic failure. This is a helper function helping us to just get the URL of the app site from the query string. So that's that. So that's really all there is to it. That's a script. So in app manifest, what I have here, I have again site collection full control, just to if you want to set the master pages, you are going to have a full control. So I'm going to right click here. Again, before I deploy this, to show you that there's nothing here. There is no yaroslav1.aspx. I'm going to right click and deploy this app. And since I already have the app on the site, it's just going to uninstall the old app. And here it is. I'm going to trust my app. I always trust my apps. And I'm going to call this app SharePoint app 2. All right, so that's just a generic page, but the whole logic is executed. I'm going to go back to my master page gallery, and I'm already sorted by page layout, so I should see Yaroslav 1. And sure enough, I do see Yaroslav 1 as my page layout, so it did get all of my parameters. If I switch to view properties mode, I'll see that it's got my title, and it has a proper content type as it shows up in this particular list. Right? So all I need to do now to prove that it really works, I'm going to go to Site Settings, go to Pages, and I'm going to create a new page, and I'm going to call it Homepage. And here it is, my layout is right here. So, and I'm going to click Create, and here's my homepage with the proper page layout that I've designed for it to have. In this case, it's just a replica of the blank web part page. So there you have it. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more videos.